Hey guys, Team DDD here with another deck profile for you. This time we've got Westin's Lair of Darkness Deck.
Alright, I decided to go, and it was kind of a fun day, so I decided to go for just kind of a more traditional build. Just no Infernoids, just a couple Ravines, a couple Dragon support. But, of course, 3 Lilith. It's really the starter card for the deck. It just gets distributing monsters, it gets the viruses going. 3 Diablos. He's a big boss monster. He can't be targeted, he can't be tributed. So basically anything 3,000 or less, they can't. Well, most things in the meta, like Masterpiece, Dragon Buster, they can't target him to banish him, they can't target it to pop it, and you can't kaiju things. So you basically just have to continually get something bigger and just overpower him. And he just recurs himself every turn. It's a good card. Then we have 3 of the Wolf. He grabs your field spell, he draws cards, and it's just more synergy with Lair of Darkness. And we go to 2 Armageddon Knight. This leads into a lot of the more fun combos in the deck, like stuff like Steam, stuff like Destrudo, which can just continuously, it's just basically more stuff to get Lair of Darkness going, distribute your opponent's stuff. And I do 1 Duke Shade. He's a kaiju to your side of the field. If you really want to tribute more, you can pump him up kind of big, but mostly it's just his defense is good. He can trigger a good bit of the viruses. We got the Tour Guide and Scarm. It's good turn 1. You can just Tour Guide into the Scarm. You can go Dante, Gram Pulse, anything, whichever you want. And you just detach the Scarm, search for Lilith. It's one of the only ways to really get to her outside of hard drawing it. And for the Ravine stuff, we have Destrudo and Dark Worm. Basically, I was initially just going with Destrudo, but I decided to throw in the Dark Worm since even if I open Destrudo or Destrudo Ravine, I can pitch the Dark Worm instead and get it all going, get the whole engine set up without even a normal. And also I run, just to be funny, Jurigato. It can tribute itself. It gains life points, it's okay. And 1 Steam. This is basically just to send off Armageddon, or if you open it, you send it off Ravine. And with the field spell, you tribute your opponent's monster, summon it back, and it makes a token. And only hand traps I run with 3 Ogres. No Veilers, and I don't have Ashes.
Still too expensive.
Never gonna be cheap enough. And that's the whole monster lineup. Spells, I ran 3 Lair of Darkness, the new card of the deck, really the centerpiece, the only thing that holds any of this together. You get tribute your opponent's stuff to basically plus off it. There's no reason to run any less than this. I ran 3 Allure. Sorta cloggy. Honestly, I'd advise cutting it to 2, replacing it with Upstart, Desires, maybe other monsters that you'd prefer. And 2 Ravine, and 2 Terraforming. This might have been a little much. Honestly, Ravine would probably be fine at 1, and say 3 Terraforming. Because I did find games where if Ravine gets interrupted and you don't have access to Ancient Fairy, you aren't able to cycle back into your Lair of Darkness, which does hurt because the whole deck is centered around it. So I'd advise just maxing out Terraforming and cutting Ravine down to 1. And just power 1-ofs, Reborn, Foolish. That sets up, it can set up Cloak, it can set up Diablos, Destrudo, Dark Worm, any of them. And that is the whole spell lineup. And these were the traps. This probably needs the most work of the deck. It was just quick stuff I threw together, just power normal traps. 2 Torrential. I definitely advise just going for the 3rd one, so worst case, you brick, you Lilith, just definitely, you're guaranteed to set a Torrential. And I ran 2 Full Force. I think 2 was fine. 2 seemed good. I was able to access it. I was able to hit it more off Lilith than my other cards. And this did consistently. Every time it resolved, it was taking out cards. It was causing interruption. And to combo with the viruses, 2 Mind Crush. I think 2 is a good number for it, I think. I mean, you could obviously up it to 3 to guarantee it off Lilith, but I think 2's alright. It's good for hitting any multiples or anything search, even if you don't hit a virus, it can still stop searchers. And 1 Eradicator, 1 Dark Light, and 1 Deck Devastation. Did not resolve this today, did not draw this, and did not get it off of Lilith. Good in theory, no idea how it is in execution. Deck Devastation did resolve this once, and it was very good. Could possibly bump that to 2. That is one of the better ones, and it is rather easy to end up pulling off. And Darklight resolved it once. It's okay. I think it was a little bit overhyped, in all honesty. I see people running 3. I don't agree with that. I think 1 to 2 is fine. And that's it for the main deck. Extra deck, I ran for rank 3s. I ran Grand Pulse, Break Sword, and Dante. Basically all just tour guide or multiple Liliths. That was good spot removal. That was good. That was good for spell and traps. That was good for just anything. And Dante was just, if I open tour guide, I can immediately detach it and start next turn with a Lilith. And there's plenty of stuff that's good in the graveyard, but yeah, it did okay. Level 7 Synchros. I did Ancient Fairy and Black Rose. Dark Strike Fighter would be very welcome in here. Did not have one for the day. But Ancient Fairy was especially good. It basically turns any Ravine hand into guaranteed Lair of Darkness. If you open say you open like a way to get to Fairy in like a Lilith in hand, you can special it off the Ancient Fairy. Her under Lair of Darkness, her stats are incredibly good for setting off the viruses as well. And Black Rose is just a board wipe if you really have to. Links. I did 1 Link Spider. You could probably jump it to 2 just because of the amount of tokens the deck's going to generate. And then Link 2s, I did Underclock and Proxy. I don't believe I even made Proxy today. I made Underclock, and it did help me get to the OTK. Link 3s, I have 1 Decode and 1 Ningirsu and the Gaia Saber. The Ningirsu is actually very easy to make. You end up with a lot of tokens. It ends up with a lot of... You can get Link Spiders and Underclocks. So it's very easy to end up getting to a Ningirsu with tokens to pop, other stuff you want to send to the graveyard. And the others were just kind of staple. Gaia Saber mostly because he can be used off tokens. And Xyz are my higher ranked ones. I did 1 Harbinger, 1 Cypher Dragon, 1 Full Armor Photon, and 1 Cypher Blade. It's just a good spell negation. Honestly, pretty cuttable. You're not going to be able to make it first turn, if ever, really. That's just the starter card. 2 Diablos into that. You go into that, pop a card, and then you overlay that, pop another card. It's a double Trident if you have the resources for it. And that does not have to be that does not have to pop face-up cards. So it's especially good in that respect. And did not prepare a side deck today. Really wasn't too worried about it. Didn't have time. So.
Any final thoughts?
I mean, the deck's pretty solid. The deck's, if you're looking for something to get back into the game with, it's rather cheap. Outside of the hand traps are probably the most expensive part of the deck, and those aren't even entirely necessary. I barely went into any of the extra deck outside of, I made Grand Pulse a couple times. I made Ancient Fairy very consistently. I mean, you just need a couple links, like the Ancient Fairy and like rank 3s of your choice. That's all you need extra deck-wise, nothing really too expensive. Main deck, pretty much everything. Outside, I had some high rarity stuff in here. You don't need any of that. It all comes reprinted in the deck. I mean, you cut the hand traps, you get your Ravines. It's probably $40 for all of it, and it does all right. It can take games off meta.
All right. Thank you, Westin, and that'll be all for today.